Today's Mass readings. October 13, 2020. Tuesday of the 28th week in Ordinary Time. First reading. A reading from the letter of Paul to the Galatians. Galatians chapter 5 verse 1 to 6. Brothers and sisters, for freedom Christ set us free. So stand firm and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. It is I, Paul, who am telling you, that if you have yourselves circumcised, Christ will be of no benefit to you. Once again I declare to every man who has himself circumcised, that he is bound to observe the entire law. You are separated from Christ, you who are trying to be justified by law. You have fallen from grace. For through the Spirit, by faith, we await the hope of righteousness. For in Christ Jesus, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision counts for anything, but only faith working through love. The Word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Psalms chapter 119 verse 41, 43 to 45 and 47 to 48. Let our response be, let your mercy come to me, O Lord. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. Your salvation according to your promise. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. Take not the word of truth from my mouth, for in your ordinances is my hope. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. And I will keep your law continually, forever and ever. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. And I will walk at liberty, because I seek your precepts. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. And I will delight in your commands, which I love. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. And I will lift up my hands to your commands, and meditate on your statutes. Let your mercy come to me, O Lord. Gospel reading. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Luke chapter 11 verse 37 to 41. After Jesus had spoken, a Pharisee invited him to dine at his home. He entered and reclined at table to eat. The Pharisee was amazed to see that he did not observe the prescribed washing before the meal. The Lord said to him, O you Pharisees, although you cleanse the outside of the cup and the dish, inside you are filled with plunder and evil. You fools! Did not the maker of the outside also make the inside? But as to what is within, give alms. And behold, everything will be clean for you. The Gospel of the Lord. Before we proceed with the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Also, please hit the notification bell, so you won't miss out when we release new videos. Feel free to share your comments, suggestions, and reflections at the comments section down below. Thank you and God bless. Now, let's proceed with the video. The reflection on today's Gospel. In today's Gospel there is the continuation of the tense relationship between Jesus and the religious authority of his time. But in spite of the tension there was a certain familiarity between Jesus and the Pharisees. Invited to eat at their house, Jesus accepts the invitation. He does not lose his freedom before them, and neither do the Pharisees before him. The admiration of the Pharisees before the liberty of Jesus. At that time, after Jesus had finished speaking, a Pharisee invited him to dine at his house. He went in and sat down at table. The Pharisee saw this and was surprised that he had not first washed before the meal. Jesus accepts the invitation to eat at the house of the Pharisee, but he does not change his way of acting, sitting at table without washing his hands. Neither does the Pharisee change his attitude before Jesus, because he expresses his surprise at the fact that Jesus did not wash his hands. At that time, to wash the hands before eating was a religious obligation, imposed upon people in the name of purity, ordered by the law of God. The Pharisee was surprised by the fact that Jesus does not observe this religious norm. But in spite of their total difference, the Pharisee and Jesus have something in common. For them life is serious. The way of doing of the Pharisee was in the following. Every day, they dedicated 8 hours to study and to the meditation of the law of God. Another 8 hours to work in order to be able to survive, with the family, and the other 8 hours to rest. This serious witness of their life gives them a great popular leadership. Perhaps because of this, in spite of the fact of being very diverse, both Jesus and the Pharisees understood and criticized one another, without losing the possibility to dialogue. The response of Jesus. You Pharisees, you clean the outside of the cup and plate, while inside yourselves you are filled with extortion and wickedness. Fools! Did not he who made the outside make the inside too? Instead, give alms from what you have, and, look, everything will be clean for you. The Pharisees observed the law literally. They only looked at the letter of the law, and because of this they were incapable to perceive the spirit of the law, the objective that the observance of the law wanted to attain in the life of the persons. For example, in the law it was written, "Love the neighbor as yourself." And they commented, "We should love the neighbor, yes, but only the neighbor, not the others." And from there arose the discussion around the question, who is my neighbor? The Apostle Paul writes in his second letter to the Corinthians, "The letter kills, the Spirit gives life." In the Sermon on the Mountain, Jesus criticizes those who observe the letter of the law but transgress the Spirit. In order to be faithful to what God asks us, it is not sufficient to observe the letter of the law. It would be the same thing as to clean the cup on the outside, and to leave the inside all dirty, robbery and injustice, so on. It is not sufficient not to kill, not to rob, not to commit adultery, not to swear. Only to observe the law of God fully, beyond the letter, goes to the roots and pulls out from within the person the desires of robbery and injustice, which can lead to murder, robbery, adultery. It is in the practice of love that the fullness of the law is attained. Does our church today merit the accusation which Jesus addressed against the scribes and the Pharisees? Do I deserve it? To respect the seriousness of life of others, who think in a different way from us, can facilitate today dialogue which is so necessary and difficult. How do I practice dialogue in the family, in work and in the community?